Hello there, this is DBT and these are the rooms. And alright, we're gonna play some more Asphalt, but today we're not gonna focus on car performance or anything like that. No, instead, you'll get into my virtual car and join me to explore the world of Asphalt 8 because we're going sightseeing with DBT. That's right, another episode where we're gonna check what's up with the tracks, look around and see if we can find any cool Easter eggs or whatever. So today I'm gonna bring this car that I have on the screen right now, the Carrera GT, and this car I do have upgraded, but I wanted to bring a car upgraded this time because, oh boy, we're going into a long track. But before that, you may want to stick around for tomorrow's video because I'm going to be doing the treasure rush, rolling all my dice. I already have 60 and I have 5 more to claim in the upcoming hours. And I'm going to be spending every single one of them and see what I can unlock. Now, honestly, my chances to get the Onyx egg are ridiculously low, but we'll see. I'm going to still try to get here and hope for the best. But if you want to check that, come back tomorrow because that's when I'll do it. But as far as what track are we going to be doing today, it's very long. Can you guess what it is? Well, it's already in the thumbnail, so you don't really have to guess. It's gonna be Tokyo. That's right, Tokyo. Oh boy, this was a request that I got in the previous video of Sightseeing with DBT, and I think it's a good one because even though it's a very long track, it's another one of the oldest tracks in the entirety of the game. So there's a lot of things to see, and maybe you haven't paid attention to it, or like me, you haven't paid attention to it in years. So let's jump into it and check what's out there. Now, if you don't know what's the whole concept of sightseeing with DBT, check the video that should be appearing on the top right about now, which is the introduction that I did to this series where I'm going to be exploring the world. But the basic idea is I'm not going to be racing, I'm not going to be doing anything like that. Instead, what I'm going to be doing is just looking around the world because, oh boy, the world is big and there's a lot of things to see. And the first thing that I like looking at here is all of these streets that are completely empty. The main street is very busy with colors and all, but if you look at all these side streets, there's nothing in there. And that is kind of fun just to see, because honestly, that's not necessarily too unlike real life. In very busy avenues where there's a lot of commerce and whatnot, businesses, this type of side streets tend not to be super important and they tend to be really empty without businesses. Some of these do have some illumination and all of that in this game, but as you can see, there's really not a lot of attention paid to those side streets. But if you look at what's in the main street, it's mainly just a bunch of businesses, but generally speaking, they're very nondescript. You can't really make out what it is, and since I don't know Japanese, I have no idea what they say. I wish someone that speaks Japanese was to tell me like, hey, that business over there with the Italian flag, apparently, or I don't know what that's supposed to be, that is this, or that is that, or, you know, but I cannot read Japanese, so I have absolutely no clue, and I'm not gonna be bringing Google Translate into every single one of these little billboards and whatnot. Now, here's a funny thing about this little bridge on top of me. This one right there, it cuts off. You see how it just cuts off over there and it goes straight into a building. I don't believe that's very good city planning. Just saying. So yeah, overall, oh yeah, and this is one of the few. A lot of these buildings don't have interiors, you see? It's just a texture simulating as if that was an interior. But this is one of the few type of buildings that I found that it does have these fake stairs. This is actually not just an image, it is... Hold on, let me change camera so you can see it from the perspective of the driver. You can see that is actually a structure. Granted, it's a super basic slope on just that little square, but if you look up there, the stairs kind of continue, so I think that's kind of cool. Little detail. They didn't have to do it, but they did. So let's go further ahead. Very nice with the game loft over there and Asphalt 8. But if you look besides this blockage, again, the streets are very dark. At least those do have some lights in the buildings and all of that. The buildings behind the blockage. Is that how you say it? I don't know. But overall, the street itself is not illuminated at all, so it's ridiculously dark. And my car pretty much fits over there, but they don't let me in. I wonder why. It's almost like they don't want me to go in there. But let's keep going around. Now, I do like these trees with a bunch of little lights. Makes me think like it's Christmas time or something. Ah, Jesus. Close camera. There we go. And there's another one on this side. Again, a lot of billboards on the businesses and whatnot. So let me go on the right side. There's not a ton to look at here. There's some trees. But what I want to look at is at the bus in the middle. Though, you can see... Oh, this is not the one. This is completely... There's nothing in here. Further ahead in this same little street, you can see at the other side of the track. But yeah, is it here? The problem is that when I switch to this camera, to this POV, oh yeah, you can see a little bit of the other side of the street. The cars are so low that your view is blocked because again, they're super low. It's like a bumper camera and it's kind of annoying. So again, a lot of fake businesses and whatnot. This type of shiny thing makes me think over here in Mexico, you see this in the Chinese, yeah, mostly Chinese theaters. I mean, I don't know if they're still up there, but there used to be some Chinese theaters and they had that same type of thing, but hey. All right, so again, oh yeah, here it is, the other side of that same street, and a whole lot of nothing in these streets that are blocked. All right, so let me go on the other side of this same place and restart the race, because oh boy, this takes a while. So on this side is basically the same idea, a whole bunch of businesses, the billboards and all of that. But honestly, I didn't find too much to look at over here. I did have a look myself before I recorded this video, but there's not a ton that I could notice. It's in general, everything is very nondescript, and I think that's the point, although there's a billboard over there of some... oh yeah, look, oh, I hadn't seen this face, this guy. I had seen this one before, but I never paid attention to the Gypsy series. All right, there is that, Gypsy series, whatever that is. But there's another face somewhere. There's another billboard with a guy with glasses. We'll see if we can find it again. So again, this map is so big that I don't remember where everything is, but hey. So generally speaking, the billboards, the big buildings, tall buildings and all of that stuff, but not a whole lot to see. I think this is like a subway entrance, isn't it? I believe it is. Oh, Jesus, let me see. I really wish we had free camera. Yeah, there it is, the subway. But if you look inside, there's nothing. It's just the darkness of the night in there, I suppose. I guess they completely shut down the subway or something. The lights are off. Anyway, we go on this side, and here's the first funny thing. This, you see how this is the train where the trains passes? There's a train that passes on this side, but let's see if we can capture it over here. I'm gonna wait for it. No, actually this train is no longer moving, but there's a train that passes over here, and it's kind of funny because actually you can see the train flying after this part, because you can see that the track cuts off here, because who's gonna be paying attention, but the train keeps going, so you can see it flying over there. All right, so I'm going back to that place. Look up here and see if the train passes by. Come on, train, don't fail me. I know you want to be there. Where's the train? Where's my train? Oh, come on. Yeah, this train is stuck. It ain't moving. Oh, man, I wanted to capture that. Let me try again. All right, I'm recording from a little further back. But yeah, pay attention to over here where the train is supposed to pass by. I think it's going to do it. Come on. Yeah, there it is. There it is. And... you see the train flying? You saw it? I hope you saw it. I hope you were paying attention there. Sometimes it's easier to notice. I don't know why I was getting stuck. You know what? I'm gonna wait here, because there's a peculiar thing when you restart. Yeah, there it is. You saw it, right? Come on. Look at it. Look at it go. It's just flying over there. Is it gonna pass again? Yeah, there it is. So yeah, for some reason, after you restart the race directly by on the main menu, no, excuse me, on this menu, and you go restart, like things don't happen the same again. So you have to kind of quit the race and re-enter it, and you'll be fine. Now up there is some sort of cowboy advertisement. I don't know what it is for, but there is that. And actually, I think somewhere over here is where there's the face with the glasses. I don't exactly remember where, but yeah. So it's kind of fun to look around and see what you can see in general around the world. Because again, obviously the main idea is for you to pay attention just to the track where you're going to be racing, but it's also just fun to look around and see what else, what little details they added here and there, you know, just to what type of world building oh, there it is, the face with the glasses. I knew it. There he is. And there's this, I don't know what it is. Again, I wish I could read Japanese and we could read together. I could tell you, oh, this billboard says this and this billboard says that. But overall, that's kind of impossible for me. Sorry, I'm not gonna learn Japanese for this. Japanese is a tough language. So what we're gonna do now is just go a little bit around this area, though again, same situation, not a ton to see. Except maybe the billboards, if you wanna pay attention to those. Like over there, it says fun, I don't know what this is. And there's, oh yeah, there's the Gypsy series. Okay, there it is again. These little businesses again, but you cannot go in. I don't want to go in the business, but there, you know how there's a little bit of this little area. I wish I could go in this tiny place, but no, it's completely blocked. So nothing to do over there. And same situation, more businesses and whatnot. Now I'm going to the opposite side of that where we just were. I'm having to cut down a little bit of the traveling from point A to point B because this track is ridiculously long, and otherwise this is going to take us like 50 minutes to do the full exploration. And I don't know, even then, that we'll have time to do it in one single video, so maybe we'll have to do it at 2 parts, I don't know. But again, some trees, maybe a relatively decent place for selfies, though it's very dark, so it's not necessarily the best. And now we're gonna go inside of the Tokyo Mall, because this is a mall, apparently. I didn't know, I had to look. Is this like an actual location? I have no idea, but yeah, this is a mall. Let's go in there, and you can actually see the businesses. There's some businesses in there. Granted, they're closed for the most part, but there's even a vending machine right here. Look at that. Vending machine for you to get some drinks and whatnot. Very nice. Very nice. So yeah, you can just look. Oh, there it is. Tokyo Mall. You see? I knew it. Now, funny thing, I never paid attention to the fact that there's some Asphalt 7 banner over here. Never did. And I've been here a gajillion times and yet never seen it. So again, a bunch of businesses, and actually this is not too terrible of a place to take some selfies if you want to have a 60% discount on your selfie, because that's very interesting, I suppose. Now, I did get curious to see, because you see, I was like, how is this a mall? There's only a few businesses, but remember that this is a ridiculously tall building. Alright, there it is from a different perspective, the 2 big buildings. So I was actually looking around in Google to see if there's if that's a thing, if that's an actual location, but I couldn't figure it out. I've seen some other pictures of some malls like this, where it's in the one side in front of the other, but not, I don't know that it's the same place. Oh, okay, I lost. Okay, no worries, I'm back. But yeah, I did get curious to see if there were more businesses in the upper floors, but it's completely empty. And I don't know how you're supposed to get to the higher floors from here, because I don't see any stairs anywhere. So hey, unrealistic Asphalt, how dare you treat us like that. But alright, there we go, enough of the mall. Now we get into this middle section. And well, if you ever wanted to do just some donuts, this is the place, because this is so wide that you can just check out your drift radius in here and have some fun. But anyway, big Ferris wheel, kind of nice. Which side do we take? Vote now, left or... I'm kidding, you cannot vote. But we're gonna go on the left side, because this is the most common route that everybody would take. There's not a lot to see at this point. You can just see a little bit of the road going up here. You can take some selfies in here, but there's not too much to see. You just have some of the high-rise buildings. Where's my music? Where did my music go and why is it not playing? There it is. Okay, I don't know why it wasn't playing, but fine. Then you get into this tunnel. Funny, because this is the side that you're supposed to go, and that's why when there's traffic in this track, the traffic is coming this way, because you're going basically against the flow, which I suppose makes it more interesting, more daring. And when you're in here, you can actually see the other side where normally people were supposed to drive. But the funny thing about this is that I really don't know where that goes, because later in this same section, that road goes nowhere. So you know that over here it splits and you're supposed to take this left side, which is like, I don't know, some sort of drain system. It's because apparently there was a massive accident over here. Yes, you can see a bunch of cars all bunched up over there with a big pipe. Is that what it's called? Those big trucks that have gas or water or whatever, this big thing. So yeah, there was apparently an accident, and this is why you're diverted into this section. But this is what I was saying. Remember that we're going in, this is the flow that I'm supposed to be going normally, right? This is the right direction I should be going. Where does this other side go? I mean, granted, it's blacked out, so you're not supposed to know. But if we follow this road, where does that go? I have no idea. Is it coming from a different place? Because I have no idea. But anyway, let's keep going up here. Now it's funny, I never noticed that actually you're going uphill when you're taking this tunnel. And how did I notice that? Well, it has to do with me deciding to go back and go on this route. And man, I'm telling you, there's so much to see in this track. It's so much stuff. But if you look over here, you already can see the bridge that you cross if you go into that route. Yes, it's that same bridge. But there's nothing else to see because all of this is water. So I guess this is why the road goes it goes downhill or uphill, depending on how you look at it. And actually, if you look at it from the side, comparing or in context with the rest of the road, you can actually see how this thing does go down. So that's kind of interesting. And now, speaking of the bridge, now we're gonna go onto this right side. because there's again a bunch of things to see over here. This area is actually kind of cool looking because of the big buildings and all of that. These are some relatively decent selfie spots. For example, you can go over here with the big building at the back. It's kind of bright, it's nice. Now, because this is nighttime, obviously the headlights of the cars kind of get a little bit in the way when you're trying to take a selfie, but it's alright. So yeah, over here the main thing that you can see is obviously the big buildings, which is normally what you notice. There's not a whole lot, at least that I have noticed personally, that it's necessarily super interesting. And yet I do like going over here because, for example, there's this side of the bridge that you can that you can't go into. It's blocked, obviously, and that would be fun if that was another route that you could explore here in Tokyo. Again, Gameloft has said that maybe they would be working on the tracks to expand them a little bit. That would be dope. But over here is when you have a pretty nice chance to look at the water on the other side, you see? And actually, if you notice in the minimap, it shows that there should be a road right in front of where I'm looking at, but there's a ton of water down there. So yeah, this whole thing is probably underground, which is kind of cool. You might be thinking, DBT, you never noticed that? Well, I didn't, okay? Never paid attention to the fact that you go underground. Now let's take this just to have a quick look. Look at all the water around. It's so cool looking. And like I said, this is the same bridge that you can see from the other... Look, he's sightseeing with me. Yeah, it's kind of cool to see all of that. And from the other side of the track, you can see this big bridge. Now, it's kind of sad that when you're seeing the bridge from the other side, you don't get to see all of these lights, because you know how the farther stuff is away from you, where you are, it stops, the engine stops drawing stuff. It stops rendering stuff. So you get to see the bridge, but you don't get to see all those little lights, and it would be dope, because it would add some extra, I don't know, some extra something to it. But anyway, I do wonder what is that tower. It looks like, you know, the Eiffel Tower. Is that the fake Eiffel Tower? I have no idea. Anyway, so yeah, let's keep going further ahead over here. Again, there's another road over here, because obviously this is a bridge. It's supposed to take you to different places. But this road is completely blocked. Hey, what if it was expanded on that side too? I'm telling you, it would be cool, because all of these tracks are old tracks, meaning they're designed in the old way, where there's basically just one route with some variations, and that is that. While, for example, newer games that are track-based, much like an actual real track, they tend to be modular, where you can have different versions of the same track with different routes, but very, very different routes. So that's kind of cool, and I wish they did something like this for this game. Now I'm going on the right side over here up, because while there's not a ton necessarily to look at, well, I mean, all of this could work as selfie spots, but it's kind of difficult. That building behind is kind of ugly. It's kind of difficult because of the ramp, and because of that, nobody ever takes the time to go in here and actually messed up the jump. Yes, I did. Oh, hello. Excuse me. Can I do it again, please? Let me retry the jump. All right, there we go. I got it this time. It's fine. Don't panic. Now, this section could be nice for selfies, except that it's ridiculously difficult. Like, for example, you can go over here and have a little bit of the background, and you can see the decorations. Maybe you want to go more right here, so that you see this whole structure and all that. But unfortunately, this is not necessarily a great location, because everybody's always it's gonna be difficult to land over here and stop in time. So yeah, there's a good chance people are just gonna overshoot it and get past that section. Now we're into this whole area, and honestly over here, other than that big robot that I don't know, is that a real thing? I don't know. Other than that big thing that wants to touch you inappropriately, I mean your car, there's not a whole lot to see over here in this whole section. It's a nice section with the trees and the roads and all of that, but even for selfies, I don't think it's amazing unless you have manual acceleration, so that you could stop in a place like this and maybe take a selfie. Oh, Jesus Christ. So as I was saying before, I was very rudely interrupted. If you have manual acceleration, maybe you can stop for a selfie like this. But for people that don't have manual acceleration, you can't really stop in a spot like this to take a nice selfie. So yeah, realistically, most of the selfies are gonna happen against the wall. And again, there's not a ton to look at over here, unless you just want to see some trees and whatnot. So if we keep going further ahead, we're gonna reach well, here's a deviation again to go into the other route for the bridge. But I'm gonna go over here into what I would say is like a more industrial or loading dock type of area of this track. And same situation again, not necessarily a ton to look at. There's a lot of containers, there's some ships and whatnot, some buildings, but again, not too much that you can look at. This track is so big, and it does a very good job at making the entire location feel like a real place. But if you really stop, there's not a ton of extra details to look at, but hey, it works. So speaking of the bridge, because again, it's not like there's a ton of stuff to look at over here. Let me go on the other route. Okay, so here we go. This is the route that just about everybody takes because it's obviously the best route, which makes the other route incredibly unexplored, but hey, oh well. So here we go. Now we see over there that same building that I was looking at from the other route, and if we want to look over here, it's just the entrance from the other section where I said, oh, there's the way back to the bridge. Now this area looks kind of cool because you can see the sky. It looks nice with the, what is that, like a crane type of thing. Well, I don't know, this is a bridge. I have no idea what any of that is, but it looks okay. Nothing amazing, to be completely honest, but hey, it's fine. Now, all of these are like cranes, aren't they? Precisely for the containers and all of that. I'm not sure, but we can actually have a really good look over here, because if you stop and you go on this side and switch to the immersive camera, then you get to look out this ledge. Just make sure that you don't fall down. And there it is. A little bit, you can see again another part of the track, but obviously, like I said, a lot of this gets unloaded because the game doesn't need to be rendering all of the entire map all of the time. But there we go, you can see a little bit on that side. Now if we keep going, you can also look at the other, Jesus, brake! Ah! I'm fine. You can also look at the other side of the track, but again, from this angle, there's not so much that you can see. But there is that. Now, you are definitely familiar with this whole section with the parking lot, because this is a section that you... I mean, I think I'm in the metal section. There's still one level above, or is this the highest? This may be the highest, I don't know. But have you ever paid attention to what is in the opposite side of all of this? If you fall all the way down, you can hit a wall, and there's absolutely nothing of interest there. It's a terrible selfie spot, unless what you want is a selfie against a ridiculously bright wall made of bricks. Not a great selfie spot, but again, I don't think a lot of people have taken a lot of time into exploring this section of the track, because there's absolutely never a reason for you to be here. But the fact that it is there and you can go into it, it's kind of cool. Same thing at the bottom level. This is a place that I had seen ages ago, right? But since the last I don't know how many years, I've never really visited this area, because why would you? But if you want a selfie against a very red wall, there is that section too. So again, I think this whole thing of the Sightseeing series works really well, not only to see the details of the map itself or the track, but also to find some nice selfie spots. And for example, we're out of, this is past that whole bay area, or whatever you want to call it. Again, we can go over here and look at the parking and all of that. There's some cars, but by the way, and that makes me wonder if the scale of the cars is right, because look at how ginormous those SUV look. I mean, granted, the Carrera vehicle, it's very, very small, right? Well, very untall, very short. But those others look ridiculously ginormous. But yeah, this is past that whole section of the docking, or the dock, or loading, or whatever it is. So if we go back over here, well, you can already see that, Jesus Christ, if it could stop drifting. This is why I don't like bringing cars that are super upgraded, because they drift decently alright under normal circumstances, but for what I'm doing over here, it gets really annoying how you lose control of it. But you can see this ginormous building, which I think it's a landmark in Japan, but honestly, I have no idea. So if anybody knows what it is, please let me know in the comments, because that would be cool. I have zero clue, so hey. So again, more businesses that you can look at. Again, there's the entrance to the subway, more trees with lights, buildings, businesses. This is the exit of the parking area that I was at. So overall, it is definitely a very, very, very cool looking map. A ton of little details, but at the same time, only in the areas where you're gonna be paying attention. Because over here, look, I fit over there. I definitely fit, but it didn't let me in. I don't know, it's kind of cool. And again, if GameLoft did want to eventually rework the map so that they can expand them, this map definitely has a lot of opportunities with all of the other tracks. Now, I mean, with all of the other roads. I would imagine that it would be difficult to make it kind of cohesive, or loop back into the section, but I wanted to go over here, switch to this camera view. Look at that. I really wish, like I said, I really wish that this game had a mode for pictures, take pictures, so that I could remove the heads-up display, because look at this view. It's really, really, really cool. I really like it. And again, I just like looking at the world, looking at the map. and see what's out there. I know that I probably missed a ton of stuff, but like I said, if I stop on every single little detail in this track, this video would be like a full hour long, and I don't want to do that. So instead, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a loop, a lap around this track, look at the world, look at what the world has to offer, and I think that's pretty cool. Now, if you want to get a heart and a pin, you need to leave me the key phrase. The first person to do so is going to get both. Anybody that posted afterwards is just going to get a heart. The key phrase for today is: sometimes the road you travel are more interesting than the destination. Again, the first person is going to get both. Anybody else is just going to get a heart afterwards. But alright, let me know in the comments if you have enjoyed this series, if you want to see some more of this type of videos, and what should be the next location to explore. Again, I cannot take a full hour into exploring every single little bit, but hey, if this helps you to take a second to look at the track a bit more and appreciate it, I feel like I've done my job. Now, don't miss out on tomorrow's video where I'll use all 65 free dices for the Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute Treasure Rush and see what I can unlock. But that's gonna do it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and stay safe. Bye bye.